All right, so I'm in dollar yen short. Uh, I went the wrong direction as far as the news goes. The news went long, and I did not take it long just because I saw this to me as an overall short, and um, I'm anticipating this level holding to the short side for an intraday move overall. A couple days ago, we had some significant news on the CPI. So that created a dynamic shift to the upside on this pair. So I see it wanting to go long, but I do also see it as having room to go to the downside before committing back up. I can also see it ranging within kind of the day that was created yesterday. The next level I see holding is up here if I'm wrong. Um, but if it gets up here, I would imagine it would continue long just because of the higher time frame. So taking a little bit of heat on the trade right now. I'm down a couple pips. I was down more on it earlier when it was up here. So just seeing if this level holds. I took it also because that is the low of the PPI move yesterday on the dollar. So if this level holds, then it can continue to the short side significantly. If it breaks, then it'll test the high of that level and still have potential to go to the short side. But then I would ask myself if this was not going to hold because of the higher time frame catalyst that happened on Tuesday. So I missed out on taking this long because the news level was right there and it just went long. 13 would have been like 1.5 pips to the level where I would see it going short potentially. So, I mean, if I had taken that, I would have had to accept taking a lower reward to risk ratio. Uh, it didn't quite match, so I didn't take that trade. I'm trying to look for at least 2-to-1 reward to risk ratio whenever possible. So, like the short, for instance, if I go 14.2, it's 30 pips to the low of the range. So this right here is just a 2-to-1. Still trying to figure out if being too mechanical like that hurts my trading, but like in order to measure it and rate the performance, fine tune things, I think I have to be as tight as possible with my execution so then I can maximize my winning trades. And that only means anything if my winning trades, outweigh the fact of me getting, um, stopped out by having a tighter stop at my level, but that's my invalidation point. So I gotta stick by it and just go with the intraday trend that I had seen because before that news, it looked like this. One can argue it's sleeping demands, yes, but I can argue that I see it has room to go before going back long. There's always a buyer and always a seller. Just have to read it right. Hmm. Gotta focus there for a second. It's weird. Have some Aussie news coming out. Mm, Some of it in about 38 minutes, and then an hour and 8 minutes for jobs. I haven't traded Aussie New Zealand for about a month or so. I missed interest rate news, I think, but usually that is the better news events to trade on this pair for me. But when news lines up on it, I can't help but to take a look at it with New Zealand GDP and Aussie jobs. Um, just something to consider. I just try to see if there's anything worthwhile to me in it. It seems compelling, or if I can take with any conviction at all. Seems pretty range to me. Um, I'd check back with it when the other news releases on it. Anyways, cool. It's working out. Just anticipated to keep working out. But yeah, that's probably my only trade. I wouldn't necessarily take it long until like later in the session if it does go long. Like I'm saying like later in the day, like during London or potentially US. There is US core retail sales that should be good. And I'll just see if anything's worthwhile on Aussie New Zealand later. But at this point, just looking at how big the range was on the GDP for New Zealand, I don't know what it's going to do. So I don't see any directional bias or continuation. So until it breaks that greater GDP range, uh, I don't see trading it. Maybe I would see potentially shorting it if it comes back up to the point of origin of where it broke short. But I don't think I'll take it long. Hmm. What up, Paul? Yeah, I thought it was the same link. That's my bad. I'm doing all right. Caught up on sleep yesterday, so that was good. Yeah. I've been in it for a little bit. I got in on a limit order when it first came up into the level, so it took a little bit of heat on it, and then it's doing some of the right stuff. I saw it as a 4-hour level going intraday, room to the downside, because that was the CPI move on Tuesday. And I can see it coming down, test this area, if not breaking it. And the area that price had left is like kind of like a double top, like on the higher time frame, like on the daily and the weekly. On the weekly. Thanks. I missed out on the immediate move that the news caused, which was to the upside. But I would have had to accept, right? But then it's kind of like depends on what your criteria is for reward to risk ratio. Because if you took that trade, I mean, to like take it properly, I think your stop would have to be below the pivot. You know, in case it did a like false breakout short and then went long. So like if you measure that to the first area where it can go short, where it's kind of like hesitating now, you would have to accept clicking out of the trade at like, you know, 1.3 R. So that's some discipline right there because like, I don't know if I need to work on doing that better, you know, not think so mechanically in R and just go from like the levels as I see them. Trying to find that balance for me better. I've been just trying to stick with the higher R trades, but then I do miss out on some good opportunity. I don't know, man. Is the lower R worth the risk? I guess it depends on the hit rate. I need to get better at measuring my hit rate so I can know what trades to put better risk behind. Like, you know, am I good at PPI moves or am I better with GDP? Should I not trade GDP? You know, those are questions I need to answer for myself because like trying to trade all the events may be very rewarding, but I should know which ones that are the most rewarding. And I should also know which ones require a bit more effort and work to figuring out how they work. If I assume I'm good at a certain news event, I should be able to define that. Anyway, so that's my thought process on that. I don't know if I know you do the summaries, so I guess that's your way of figuring that out. Yeah. And I also need to know, like, is it good to statistically just go with it? You know? and then until like proven wrong, even if seems higher risk. It seems high risk to me for whatever reason. But then again, I do know that in order for my trade to trigger, it does have to go long. So like that's frustrating. Just I don't know when that timing would be. Because that timing can happen after it breaks lower and then it comes up. Not that well. I definitely was down on that one. So I was down 1R, I think total, between 2 pound trades. I took it directional and was up about almost 1R. And then it flipped completely and I didn't have a bias to flip. So that was unfortunate. I thought it was going to continue its trends yesterday, created by the dollar CPI. But no, it reversed. Right, and then after London open and flips. The trade that I'm kicking myself over the most was the dollar yen yesterday. Because like in my example, like I got stopped out here, and then it went about 2R, and then it came up again, and then I was like tilted, and then like I saw, this being to the bigger picture to the upside, right? So then I'm like, okay, cool, it found its demand, and now it's going to go long, and then but my idea to short from the high up here would have been ridiculous if I got back in or I had a wider stop, because like I just went short all day. That's the type of trade that pays off very nicely if you can get like a really good execution on it. Like if you can actually get a 22 pip move, like zone on a move like that, it's ridiculous. So it pains me to see that I wasn't as short and lost on it. So it doesn't mean, it means that I need to do something better. Like I need to be okay with taking the level higher up, so the fear of missing out doesn't exist, because like it is going to come up and test this level. Like it has to. Like even for it to continue on, it has to come up and hit the level. Right? I was just banking on it going short. And I got wigged out of it and lost out on that. So that one's painful. Can even say that my short now is just like, that could be like just me being tilted for missing out on the short yesterday, technically. But objectively, it's the new intraday trend in my eyes. So like to me, this technically should be an easier trade than this one would have been. But then again, like it won't be as rewarding because then it doesn't have as much room to go anymore. Yeah. Got to always be self-aware if we're, tilted from a prior day and trying to like make sure like a bad day or a bad week doesn't turn into a slump. Because it's just natural to trading scared comes in and like you're missing out, so then you mismanage, you misexecute. It just becomes a domino effect, even though like you technically do know what you're doing. Um, just being aware that certain emotions are in effect, does have influence. Then you have to be even more objective, like, sometimes more cautious. Just, or maybe centered in, right? Something I even tell myself to do is that like if I'm in a downturn, like currently, I should sim trade a little bit more. Right. So like if those trades continued at all, like if they continued with their direction and you just got out too quick, then like missing out on your winning ideas is detrimental also, not till two. So like yeah, most did. So like those trades probably should have been each more than 15 pips. Maybe you got stopped out on one, and then lost on it. But our egos, get in the way. And no, you're not going to lose on this trade, or no, you're going to make more money on this trade. Whatever self-talk it is, I know that I subconsciously tell myself those things, and it's not good. But I'm aware of that. I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm human, and just something that I have to be better at. It's like reviewing my trades. If I had just stuck with half of them, it'd be like so nice right now. Yeah, as more time goes on, like I've been trading when I've been tired uh, more lately, and I shouldn't. I can't say for sure that I'm making the best decisions if I'm not rested. And that's also how I need to measure my trades too. It's just like, was I rested? You know, just something as simple as that. So if it comes to the bottom of this range, that'll be about 2.5 R for me. Of course, I'm not going to stick with that. I gotta tell myself like, you know, the self-talk from Star Wars. Stay on target. Stay on target. So really not much to do or say anymore. It's my reasoning for the trade. Just gotta try to stick in my winning trades as much as I can, and get out at reasonable profit targets and keep getting better at reviewing and balancing trade ideas versus the reward to risk ratio versus my hit rate and all that. So I have to work on a better spreadsheet than just screenshots and trading logs. You'd like to do a better job creating a statistic for myself. All right, man. Take care. Core retail sales tomorrow in the morning, so that would be what to look at next. Got some Euro news, but not. I don't. At this moment, I don't think I'm going to trade it. I need to. I think the better opportunity would be core retail, but I have to pace my energy and just see which ones I can focus on the most. Yeah, I got some interest rate. Got dollar, yen, Swiss, pounds. Oh, it's going to be a very busy week next week. Jesus. All right, yeah, I gotta do a lot more prep. That's what it means. I have to do a lot more work. Great. All right. Yeah, take care, Paul.